Homegirl Talk. Yeah, hold on. Let me record this. I'm getting the situation handled. I'm getting the process going. So
Okay.
first of all, please join me on homegirltalk.com. You can actually go to our website, homegirltalk.com, and chat live with me and Selene. She is my very special guest for today's Homegirl Talk broadcast. And we're also streaming live right now to Facebook at Homegirl Talk, also at Marpop, that's me, at Twitter, Periscope, at Marpop and Homegirl Talk. And then we're also streaming to YouTube, both my personal and Homegirl Talk, and YouNow. So girls and boys, we are all over the place. So make sure you go to Homegirl Talk, because that's where I can actually monitor any sort of comments or questions. And also feel free to browse around and add your own story, or if there's somebody you want to interview. The site is meant to be a community-oriented place where you can share your stories. You can highlight somebody who you think is worth talking about or interviewing, or products that you love, anything to make life better for all our homegirls out there. So speaking of homegirls, I have a very special guest today. Her name is Selene Luna. So you might not know her name, but you definitely know her voice, and you definitely know her work, because she is one of the stars of Disney Pixar's Coco. Everybody's favorite movie from the past year, Oscar winning, one of like we're going to get into this, but I think it's like the biggest all Latino cast like movie ever. So it's very exciting. And so hold on a second while I adjust my graphic, and I'm going to bring in Selene right now. Hey girl.
Hi, homegirl.
Hey,
All the homies
chica.
out there.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you? I'm so happy to finally be on your show.
Yay! Thank you for being on the show. So Selena and I, just to backtrack a sec, we had scheduled our Homegirl Talk live. Girl, it's probably been a month now, and the system just wasn't working. We were having technical malfunctions, but we got it going. So thank you for being patient with me as we get this off the ground.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm just so happy we could finally do it.
Yes. So, girl, first of all, you have to tell us what that was like to be in Coco, one of the biggest movies ever, celebrating Latinos, which is wonderful because I'm Mexican, you're Mexican. So that's just an added bonus. And kind of like, tell us a little bit about what that experience has been like. I can only imagine that it's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been incredible. I mean, it's still surreal to me. Like, if I watch the film, it's bizarre to me that I'm in it. It's like an out-of-body experience. But it's incredible. Coco is special for many reasons, but the most important reason is that it is the very first major studio film that has an all Latino cast. Like, that's never happened before. So it's incredible to be part of it. When I got the part, I had no idea what a cultural and historical impact it would have. I was just so happy to work,
Right,
so,
right, because you're a working actress and stand-up comedian.
Right, that's right. And so just getting a movie role, it doesn't even matter what movie it is. I was just like, oh, good, I'm going to pay rent this month,
Did you know it was going to be an all-Latino cast when they were doing this?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did. And that was factored into how I got the part. Pixar tried for many years to cast the part appropriately, and I commend them so much, and they're an incredible company. They wanted to do it right. It was very important for them, for the writers, the directors, the producers, who are all my friends now, and they're wonderful, incredible artists, and it was really important for them to tell an authentic story. They didn't want to whitewash it, and so they went through great lengths to make sure it was an all-Latino cast. And that's how they found me, because they were looking for a comedic Mexican actress. And that's how I got the audition.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Now, can you give us a little bit of Tia Rosita? Like, how did you did they tell you, well, obviously you have the character written, but did they kind of coach you or guide you? Like, did you make your voice higher? Did you add more of an accent?
It's funny. They actually they really held my hand through it. Because when we were at the stage of me recording my part, they were still working on illustrations. Like my character didn't fully exist yet.
Oh my gosh.
There were drafts of her, you know, visions of her, but it wasn't as complete yet. There was still a lot of work to be done when I was at the point of recording, and I didn't even get a script. Actually, none of the actors did. So you sit with the director, and he kind of walks you through, like, okay, the next thing that's going to happen is, you know, just imagine XYZ and how you would respond if you were in that situation. You know, he would have to describe a scenario that might possibly happen, and then you just do your best working with little information. And so,
are you allowed to? Are you allowed to do a Tia Rosita, like a little line right now? Or are you like have some sort of ban?
So.
I don't know how it works.
Question. No, that's a really good question. But I think at this point in the game, I'm allowed. Before I couldn't do anything, but now I can. Well, we're your family, mijo. Oh, look, footprints. I'm trying to remember because I did this like 3 years ago.
Has it been 3 years?
Yeah, I recorded this in. No. Actually, I'm lying. 2 years ago. I recorded in 2016.
Wow. And then it takes so much time. I think probably even more because it's being illustrated, right? Because it's an animated movie. There's even more of a process. So it's like way after the fact. You've already moved on and done so many other things since then.
Yeah. And there are many components involved. You know, illustration's a very complicated process. But they did such an incredible job. I mean, I think it's so beautiful. I mean, visually, you know, it's
stunning. You know, I mean, I haven't met a single person who doesn't love Coco. I don't care what cultural I don't care what your cultural background is. And I love that it is the first major, you know, all Latino cast movie, and it was such a huge success. And we're seeing that now with Crazy Rich Asians, where it's a huge all Asian cast. So I'm just like, bring it on, bring on the color, all shades. Let's just make it happen already and prove that people want to see this.
Exactly. That's what's most exciting about this. We're in a groundbreaking time in entertainment because the box office numbers are confirming that this is what people want. Right. You know, Black Panther, Coco, Crazy Rich Asians. Yes. They're blowing up the box office. Yeah. And in the past, you know, the studio excuses were always like, oh, well, no one's going to come see, you know, a Latino actor. Oh, there aren't any Asian stars. You know, we can't break the box office with that. And the people have proven that that is not the case. And so I'm really hoping this opens doors for a lot of incredibly talented people of color. We're out there. You know, we exist, and we're finally getting opportunities.
So I want to talk to you about that, Selene. So not only, okay, so you're a Latina. You were born in Mexico but raised here in California, yes? Correct.
Yeah, I was born in Tijuana, and my family immigrated when I was 3.
So, and then you grew up. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. You grew up like in East LA, and then you moved to Norwalk.
Right. The first place we lived when we first arrived to this country were the East LA projects. And then once my parents got on their feet, like 10 years later, then we moved to the beautiful city of Norwalk.
Shout out to Norwalk. I have some friends out there and my brother and my beautiful nieces. So we love Norwalk. Keep it safe.
Norwalk.
Hey, Norwalk in the casa. So, you know, for people who might not know, and you can't tell from looking at you right now, you are a little person.
Yes, I am. I am a little person. I am 3 feet 10 inches tall.
3 feet 10 inches.
So I'm a woman. I'm a Mexican immigrant, and I'm disabled, so that makes me Donald Trump's kryptonite.
So I love that you are very outspoken. So in addition to being an actress, or maybe you want to be called actor, I know like that's kind of like a thing right now, like, you know.
I don't care. I'm not attached to labels. Labels don't pay my rent.
There you
Girl,
go.
I don't. You know what? I don't care what you call me. Just call me.
So in addition to being an actress, you are an activist, and naturally, you want to shed light. We're talking about, you know, people of color and different cultures, but people with disabilities. This is something very close to you. This is something that affects you, and this is something that you're fighting to kind of let people know. We all know it's wrong to discriminate. We all know it's wrong to hold different prejudices. But as somebody who doesn't know what that's like, you know, tell us a little bit about that and what it was like growing up. Did you feel like it was a hindrance? Did you feel, you know, less than because of it? What has been your experience?
Well, you're very insightful, and yes to all of the above. My disability is what has always motivated me to be vocal, even from a very young age. I mean, from the age of 5, I have a very vivid memory of thinking, you know, I think I'm going to go into showbiz, because then that way people will be forced to stare at me on my terms and not because of what I look like. And that's why I love doing stand-up comedy. It has been the most liberating outlet for me. Like, I'm just a vocal person, so it's a natural path for me to communicate social issues I feel strongly about. But I like doing it with a sense of humor, because you know, humor and comedy, they're automatic equalizers. People feel disarmed when they're laughing, and so when they're laughing, they're willing to hear you more. You know, nobody wants to hear somebody who's pissed off and my feelings are hurt.
Angry.
You know, yeah, nobody likes that, and I don't either. And my feelings are not hurt. You know, I just want to be treated with equality. That's all. You know, and although I would like some special treatment now and then, but equality is based. It's just such I think a natural human desire. Just to be treated with dignity and respect. Everybody deserves it. So the reason I'm so vocal about disability rights is because even though the world now is having dialogue about diversity, it rarely ever includes people with disabilities. You know, it always includes people of color, different ethnicities, sexual orientation,
sexual
gender,
orientation.
You know, it includes everything, but rarely does it include disability. And that just really gets my goat. I don't understand why we're constantly being dismissed. And I think we've earned, it's not even about deserving. No one deserves anything. I think just being a good human person, okay, that sounded stupid, but a good human person. Sorry, it's been a long day.
I understand, girl.
But anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why should I have to fight so hard to be treated just normal?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. You know? It's a pain in the ass, and it's not fair. And that's kind of the way it goes, but you're taking a positive approach to it. Do you feel like, so how has it helped you at all in Hollywood? Has it helped you get roles? Do you feel, and I think I've asked you this because we do have a Q&A with you on homegirltalk.com where we got into a little bit more of the nitty gritty, which is like, you know, for me, looking from the outside, I think, oh my God, it's so disrespectful and exploitative or exploitive, whatever the word is, to use little people to, you know, as leprechauns in a, you know, music video, or, you know, the elf. Like, there's always like these cliches of how to use a little person. And I feel like, you tell me, shows like is it Little People Big World, or the like the one on TLC, like they're helping to do their part to normalize, which it's normal. I'm not saying it's, you know, it's abnormal. I'm just saying it's not something that people see usually outside of, it's almost kind of like poking fun, like, oh, isn't it, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny to look at these little people dressed in these costumes because they're like kid size? It just seems very disrespectful to me.
It is, and I could not agree with you more. And I wish more people felt that way.
Hmm.
Um, you don't have to live the experience to understand when something is dehumanizing.
Yes.
And and as we discussed before, and I encourage people to read our Q&A,
Hmm.
just because it goes more in detail about this topic.
Hmm.
But I do have conflicting issues about how Hollywood treats little people. When I was younger, when I started in the biz, 20 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I was 5 years old. Um, when I started in the biz, I used to get really angry because the only roles I would ever have an opportunity to audition for were for like enchanted creature,
Mm.
creatures, elves, whatever, leprechauns, never
Yep.
a human being. Like
Right.
just never a human, just some weird monster.
Mm.
And that's so degrading and dehumanizing. But then at the same token, a person like me cannot just go get any job. Like
Mm.
I couldn't just go be a waitress or a bartender like other actors that I knew.
Oh, right.
Physically, you can't do it. So
Oh
people
my
have to
gosh.
realize that our employment opportunities are way smaller. I mean, if you think you're a struggling actor or a struggling artist, try being a disabled artist. Forget the job opportunities, like gigging here and there. Forget it. It's not going to happen because those are physical jobs usually. So people like me end up doing those demeaning, costume jobs
Because it pays
because
and at least it's work.
yeah, and but then you could have the argument, which I get,
Mm-hmm.
is like, well, you're an artist living your dream, and no one forced you into. It's not enslavement being an entertainment. It's really a privilege. So if you
Right.
get your attitude right about that, because trust me, I have other friends who are successful actors and actresses with also diverse challenges. Like I know black actors, I know a lot of gay actors who
Mm-hmm.
also had similar challenges. They could never audition for, hey, the dad next door. It's always some like really insulting, over the top, super feminine, gay,
Ah,
almost dressing them as a woman,
right.
just because they're gay
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't just play normal guys. So everybody in showbiz has a struggle. And one thing I have realized is that Hollywood is an equality game. It discriminates against everybody equally. You
Ah,
know, it
yeah.
does.
For better or for worse,
Transgender.
right?
I mean, things are changing dramatically, and I'm happy about that. But for example, back in the day, in the 1900s when I started, uh, you
Uh-huh.
know, any trans role, any person of transgender identity,
Uh-huh.
they would only ever be considered as some kind of like murderer, some like loony, crazy, violent character.
Right.
Never just, hey, I'm the trans next door. Like that would
Right.
never happen.
Right.
So I just want to paint a picture that I never really saw myself. Well, I don't see myself as having been a victim of showbiz.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets a taste of it,
I
but
gotcha.
now, but to backtrack a little bit to the earlier part of your question, at first I thought my disability was a hindrance to my showbiz opportunities, but the more experience I gained and the more maturity I gained through the business, I realized that it actually helped me because what I had working in my favor was that although I had very limited uh, role opportunities, I did stand out from your average person, and
Yes.
casting directors would remember me. And now, I'll get a phone call just because people know, oh, I'm that girl. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to see 50 people that look like me because they don't exist.
Right.
So, plus and minuses.
Yeah, and so you're always kind of it's always sort of that balancing act, right? And it's also whether you choose to focus on the positive and kind of go with that momentum, or you can get depressed and angry. But some of that will also fuel kind of your fight too, right? Like I know that you had said you have that fire in
Yes.
your belly to fight for what's right, girl. Um,
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It has always kept me motivated and it kept me from quitting
Oh.
Even though I want to quit the biz every 5 minutes, but it's kept me from quitting.
You've already quit the
Because
biz
I'm out to
20
prove
times since
something.
we last talked.
Yeah, totally.
By the way, Cloud Mercedes and Kia Ora Ea Tiora say hello on You Now. So, hey, people.
Hola.
Hola,
Hey,
hola. We have Coco actress Selene Luna with us here on homegirltalk.com live. We're broadcasting on You Now, where our friends say hello, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope on Twitter. Make sure you go to homegirltalk.com and add your own story. Email me. Send some questions. Let me know what you want to talk about and who you want to feature. I also wanted to, you know what, you really opened up my eyes, Selene. You know, we always think like, oh yeah, I get it. And you know, you're always trying to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But what really struck me, what you just said, going back, you know, you're not forced into Hollywood. This is your profession. This is your passion. This is what you've chosen to do. You know, you are an actress. You are a stand-up comedian. And you happen to be in one of the biggest movies of all time in Hollywood. So congratulations, kudos. That's awesome. You. But like you were saying, you know, it's hard for any actor. And, you know, my thought is like, yes, the old stereotype of, you know, every waiter at every restaurant is an actor, you know, and they're just waiting for their big break. But you said, you can't necessarily get those jobs. You can't be a bartender. You can't be the waitress.
Right.
I never really thought about that.
I don't think a lot of people do. And
like that's just really real. You just like brought it down to serious reality. Like, you know, I always say, well, if something bad happens, I'll just get a job at Starbucks. That's not necessarily a consideration for you. Like it's genuinely not an option.
Exactly. I would love for it to be an option. It would have spared me so much grief and so many loans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would have killed for the opportunity to be like a barista. You know, when I was younger and struggling to pay rent, I mean, it was really, really hard. And I got myself so deep into making a point about people like me that I just refused to quit. Mm-hmm. And I just figured it out. And it was really brutal. I mean, I went without food. I mean,
no, Selene, you did not.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of artists that I know did. You know, but I had friends who would bring me like, "Here, girl, here's a can of corn." You know, and
oh my gosh.
I survived because of the art community. I have always surrounded myself with all my friends are artists and now also very successful themselves. I mean, I'm not calling myself very successful, but we all kind of stuck together and supported each other. And everyone had different adversities. You know, one of my dearest friends is now a world famous drag queen, and it had nothing to do with RuPaul's Drag Race.
Who is it? Shout out.
Oh yeah, my friend Jackie Beat.
Jackie Beat's been around forever.
Exactly. He's one of my best friends, and Jackie Beat is an incredible writer. Jackie Beat has written comedy for everyone, starting with, she used to write for Joan Rivers.
The best.
She's written a lot of TV. Ross Matthews, Margaret Cho, Roseanne Barr. I mean, she's, you know, very, very gifted, talented person. And I bring Jackie Beat as an example because she was always one of a great friend and a great support, somebody I could always turn to. And also my friend Sam Pancake, Drew Drogi, Naughty Ginsburg. I mean, I'm mentioning all these people that aren't necessarily household names, but these are all people that we've all just stuck together and just worked really hard. And that's how I survived when I couldn't go be a waitress or a barista.
Oh my gosh. Do you know at all, like, are things going to change? Are they, because, you know, they have like the wheelchair accessible, that's like requirements, like the ADA requirements for restrooms and businesses. What do you do about, what if you are a little person and you want to work in a restaurant? What are the options? You know, you've totally opened up my eyes to this whole thing now.
You know, I don't know. That's a really good question because ironically, my husband's in the restaurant business,
Uh-huh.
and he's in upper management, and so I know a lot about restaurants because of him, and I can't imagine what I could do like in a restaurant, and I don't fault the restaurants either. Like it's not like there's this massive population of little people that need restaurant jobs. It's like
Right.
a
No, but it's
handful
still,
of
it's something to think
but
about.
it's
Like,
a real thing. I mean,
yes,
girl, it's not even about the job. Try just being a customer. You know,
girl,
is the tables are always up here.
they're too
It's
tall
like
for me. I'm
I
five
know
three. They're
it's
too damn tall for
girl,
me.
girl, it's not cute. I mean, try going on a date. To some restaurant with the tables up to here. They're like, oh
Oh
hi.
my gosh, you are so funny. By the way, we're getting some hellos on Hola Ramona Aviles on
That's
Facebook.
my aunt. That's
Oh,
my
hey
aunt.
Auntie. Say hi to
Hi, tia
Ramona.
Ramona. Hola,
And
tia.
Odrade Serbmith. And Jerry
Hi.
Gerard. Hi friend. How are you,
Hi.
darling? Oh my gosh. Selena, so tell me a little bit about that. Can we get into a little bit of
Sure.
that? What
Girl, let's
was it?
get into all of it.
What was it like? What's it like being a little person in a big person's world? What was it like dating? Did you only strictly date little people? Is there like a little person dating app? Like what the F?
Well, there might be an app by now, but those days are over for me since I've been married for a while.
Uh-huh.
But no, I actually never dated a little person. Wait, let me backtrack. Just being a little person in a big world is kind of a nightmare, and it's real. But
Hmm.
but you just live. You can't be thinking about it every 5 minutes. The flip side is this is the only world I know. I
Yes.
wish I lived in a world where everything was the size of a mushroom. It'd be adorable. First of all, it'd be so cute.
Yes.
But this
Anything
is the
tiny is
only,
cute.
yeah, super. That's why I don't lie about my age. Because, girl, it's timeless. I don't care. Um, I don't lie about my age because at least I'm still at my birth weight.
There
So.
you go, girl. And people will always say, "Damn, you look good, especially for your age."
But no, yeah, dating was always a challenge. But the older I got, it got easier simply because people mature.
Yeah,
And if the more mature you are, the less you care about superficial things, and
that's
that
right.
goes for men and women. So
Mhm.
really, getting older made it easier for me.
Mhm.
But I've never dated a little person, and it's not that I have any weird hangups around it. I just never met one. I mean,
Right.
it's not like, there's like five little people in the world. What I just never met a guy to date in the little world. So
Right.
I was just living my life, and I would
Yeah.
just meet normal sized guys.
Oh my gosh. So tell us
So
what's next. I know you recently did the a showcase, and it was a stand-up comedy show.
yes,
Only disabled comedians.
that's right. Earlier this summer I produced a show called Don't Laugh at Us, a special comedians comedy special.
Mhm.
And I decided to produce this show because we're in a Netflix age now where there's a comedy special for
Everything.
everyone and basically for everyone under the sun, all diversities, which is awesome.
Mhm.
But why isn't there a disabled stand-up special?
Because
Again, we're
they need to do that with you and your
well, I'm
cohorts.
girl, I'm trying, and so don't steal my idea. I already pitched it.
No, no,
So
no. I'm
I'm
saying
not
Netflix needs to
saying
pay
I'm not pointing
attention.
at you. I'm pointing at the audience.
Yeah, yes, right. They need you.
Yeah, don't try it, bitch. I already did it. So, yeah, so I produced I couldn't believe it was the first one. I
That's
can't believe it
crazy.
hasn't been done. But it was the first stand-up special
Hmm.
with only disabled stand-up comics. So it was me, the little person,
Hmm.
my friend Greg Wallach. He's an incredible storyteller, and
Hmm.
he just won a Peabody Award.
Oh my
Greg
gosh,
Wallach, he's
congrats.
got cerebral palsy,
Okay.
and our friend Danielle Perez. She's in a wheelchair, and she's a Black Tina. So
She's a
this
Black
lineup,
Tina.
yep, this lineup is as diverse as it gets.
I love it.
So we had a very successful show, and after the show, people came up to me and were very candid and told me, for example, somebody told me, at first when my friend invited me, I was a little apprehensive because, oh, I don't know, it's disabled people talking.
Really?
It sounded like a downer. But she said after the show, she's like, wow, I'm like, my mind is completely blown. It was hysterical. I had the best time. She's like, it didn't even matter that we were disabled. Like, she learned a lot, and that was the whole point of the show. So I'm doing my best to bring it back next year.
Yes, Queen. Yeah. Yes, we got to see that.
I'm working on getting this a live tour because I think people are ready for it.
I think so. Absolutely. Another shout out. Join us on homegirltalk.com right now. Day of the Unicorn. Hey, girl or guy on You Now.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys. We're trending. We're number one on with the hashtag girl, by the way, girl on You Now right now. So shout
out. Yay.
Hey. So the stand-up comedian, the show, you're going to bring that back and continue to showcase people. Oh, this is what I want to ask you too. Okay, so we're in a very politically correct world, right? You can't say this, can't say that. You want to make sure you don't offend anybody. So when I first started researching to come up with questions for you for our Q&A on Homegirl Talk, one of my questions to you, I believe, was this word about disabled versus differently abled. And there are people on both sides who say, I'm not disabled. Why is being a little person or being in a wheelchair or having cerebral palsy, why does that make me disabled? That's very negative. I'm just differently abled. I'm abled in a different way. I'm still a fully functioning human being. Where do you stand on that? What do you think?
Well, you can't please everyone, so I'm going to offend people right off the bat.
Right.
So if you're offended, bye. You can block me. Well, just for me personally, I identify with disabled. To me, that is not a negative word. It doesn't mean I'm lesser than anyone. It just means I have physical disadvantages. For me, differently abled to me is offensive. Because I'm personally offensive because differently abled, I'm not differently abled. I have a physical challenge. To me, differently abled to me tries to water down the harsh reality of my everyday life. I'm not just, for example, going back to the restaurant conversation, I cannot not be a waitress because I hold the tray differently. I just can't carry it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that analogy made sense. Maybe that wasn't a great analogy. But let's say I go to the bank and the counters are over my head. How am I differently abled? Bottom line, I can't reach the counter. That is a physical challenge. So to me, calling it a differently able is like trying to pad someone's feelings who will not accept their body.
So it's diminishing the real life challenge. Like these examples you're giving, these are everyday real challenges and they shouldn't be diminished. I think that other people feel, the non-disabled people feel like, oh, but I don't want to insult you.
Right.
I feel like that's where it's coming from.
And the greater insult is being told what terms are offensive by a completely physically normal person.
Yes.
It's like, those are people who just feel guilty over their good fortune. Yes. So they're going to be loud to try to overcompensate for their good fortune. When really, you just need to shut the fuck up and realize that someone like me has a physically challenging life every single day. And I have needs that need to be met. There's no shame around it. That has nothing to do with that. I'm proud of who I am. I have been asked this question, and my sincere answer is, the question that I get asked a lot is, if you could take a pill and be normal tomorrow, would you take it? And my answer is no, I would not. I embrace who I am. If I suddenly became tall tomorrow, then everything I am, my entire personality would have to change. You know, my entire life experience would change. So, you know, calling myself disabled has nothing to do with negativity. It actually embraces the physical body that I'm in, and it that word illustrates that, yeah, bitch, I need help. You know, things are hard. Let's not ignore it. Just deal with it face on.
Right.
You know, trying to sugarcoat with labels and terms does not address the practical issue.
Right. It's the practical issue. It's just the reality. It's not. It doesn't need to be weighted down with like, oh my God, this is mean. This is bad. People know when stuff is insulting, and sometimes they don't. But like I'm saying, we're in this world where like everybody's kind of like tiptoeing on this or that. But I love that because you are a comedian, you are able to sort of like equalize that situation and like you were saying, like disarm it. Like if somebody makes you laugh and you have that connection, you're much more likely to hear and listen to what they have to say versus somebody who maybe thinks they're a know-it-all or this is just the way it is. You know what I mean? Like trying to teach you something. Like, no, let's just be level here.
Exactly. And maybe I'm just old school, but I find it easier to just deal with things as they are instead of trying to come up with a better word to make it softer. It's like that is very patronizing.
Right,
let's just call it what it is and deal with the issue.
Oh my God, I love it. Cristina Aviles Martinez and Chelly Celia Hernandez Aviles, say hi to you, girl, on Facebook.
Hi, girl. Those are my primas.
And VDJ.
Hey,
and VDJ Next. Do you know who that is? VDJ Next?
I don't. But the Avileses, that's my mom's side of the family. Hola.
Hola, chicas. Do you think that your Latinaness has contributed to your sort of resilience? What do you attribute to your personality and your character, like you were saying? If you had a magic pill to be tall tomorrow, all of a sudden, you wouldn't take it because every struggle, every success, every bit of your life experience has created who you are now. So what keeps you going though when you were literally without food and a friend brought you a can of corn, when you were not getting any jobs, when you can't be a pinchy barista at Starbucks? What is it that keeps you going and has kept you going?
I'd have to say that a big part of it is two things. A big part of it is being an immigrant. Seeing how my parents and family sacrificed everything to, you know, people don't realize that coming to this country, you know, immigrants coming to this country, it's not a holiday. It's not a vacation. These are people who are literally trying to survive, as in keep from dying.
Yes.
You know, these are people who are starving to death. They want their children to have a possible future. So my parents, especially my dad, really instilled a strong work ethic and a very ethical work ethic. You know, very moral work ethic. You got to work hard. If you don't complain, you work hard and things work out. And it's true. So I really had that instilled in me. You know, and then the second part is because of my disability, even within my own family, I got resistance. Like, no, you can't do this. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? Do you know what you look like? I got a lot of that growing up from school, from administrators, relatives. It was all around me. From TV, society constantly told me, look at you, look at what you look like. You can't do that. And you see, I'm even getting angry thinking about it. So I'm like, bitch, let me, that's where my Latina kicks in. So, you know, we're a passionate people, and I really embrace that about my culture. And I'm so happy I have it. You know, we are, even though Latinos are a very respectful culture, we are outspoken in the sense where, like, you know, you can't hold us down. We are going to do what we have to do to survive. And so that has always motivated me.
Oh my gosh. Selena, you are so inspirational. I've had such a good time
Oh,
talking with you.
thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I love talking to you. I think you're an incredible reporter and interviewer, and I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This is coming from a woman who is an Oscar winning film, the biggest Latino cast movie in history. So we're just gonna like keep going with that. Hi Mito K on you now and Anahi F. Don't you love
Hi,
these shout
guys.
outs?
Yeah, I know. It sounds like we're talking to robots.
I know.
Hi, big ups to R2D2.
So is there going to be a Coco 2 before I let you go, Selena? Is there going to be a Coco 2? Is
You
there?
know, I honestly do not know, but I don't think so because I would have known by now unless I got fired.
Okay.
So,
No, they can't fire you. You're like the
yeah,
key person in this movie.
yeah.
And
So
is there?
I don't think so, and I think that's fine. I just want to say, I know we're wrapping it up, but you know there are other Pixar films, many Pixar films, who don't get a part two, like Wall-E, Up. I mean, those were huge successes. So I don't know. I think there's something really special about Coco that maybe we don't need a part two, but I wouldn't be mad if we did.
Let it enjoy its own space, you know. And so many
Yes.
people were already dead in that movie anyhow. So like,
Yeah, so I think we're kind of done.
oh my gosh. Well, how can people learn more about you? Tell us where we need to go.
Uh, Definitely join my Instagram. I hope you'll follow me at Selene, Selene _Luna. Okay, I'm spelling it like a grandma, but you can see it right down here.
Yes,
Trying
we
to point
have
at it.
Selena's
Yeah,
Instagram and
yeah.
Twitter.
Check me out on Instagram and Twitter. I am very active on that, and I am not on Facebook because I refuse to be part of the cult. And I just will not do it. I don't get it.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm happy for everybody who's on Facebook having fun and enjoying it.
I love it. All right, Selena, thank you so much, girl. You are
Thank
absolutely
you.
fabulous. Thank you for sharing your story, for being so honest, and for fighting the good fight. And hopefully you have opened up some minds for people like me who, don't know, talking to different people from all walks of life. It always, it always kind of, remarkable and wonderful that things that you wouldn't even have thought to think about, or perspectives, like you shifted my mind, like just the whole, I know it's so simple and stupid and you're probably thinking, really, bitch, but like, the
No,
thing
no,
about not
no.
working at Starbucks, what do what are your fallbacks? So many things that
Yeah,
people take for granted,
right.
myself
And
included.
we all do it, and I'm guilty of it as well.
Hmm.
I take for granted what someone who is sight impaired. Maybe I don't get the reality. I think you make a great point, and we can't assume that everyone is tapped into everything
Yeah.
unless you have there's no way of knowing unless you have the experience. So
Right.
I just ask everybody, instead of fighting for labels and words, why not just talk to each other just to get understanding? I think
Yes.
dialogue is more important than a stupid word.
There you go. And on that note, that is what Homegirl Talk is all about, girl. It's having the conversation, talking, listening, and talking to
Hmm.
people who are different than you, different than me, and then learning how similar we really are. We're actually a lot more
Yeah,
alike than we think we are.
absolutely.
All right,
Was
darling.
a
Well, you have a good night. Thank you so much. I'm so happy we were able to make this happen. Selene Luna, you are a star. We love you, and we're going to follow you on Twitter. Her handle is right over there. Hold on, I'm trying to get it right. That way.
I know it's hard to nail it. Yeah,
There
okay,
you
there it is.
go. Selene Luna on
All right.
Twitter and on Instagram at Selene_Luna. So we'll put this video on homegirltalk.com so that people can see it later, because that's when people usually watch it. They're not watching it live
Great.
all the time. They're watching it later. All right, girl.
Well, muchas gracias.
Muchas
Ciao.
gracias. Bye bye.